Peace to the community. I hope y'all are doing well. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Remy, nutritionist, personal trainer for over 2 decades, expert in helping people over 30 lose 30 pounds or more and keeping it off through sustainable habits. So, as the title says today, what I want to talk about is the internet food noise. If you go online and you look up any topic that has to do with nutrition, for instance, are eggs good for me? Is you know meat good for me? Should I be eating processed food? The answer to that one is definitely no. But if you look up any nutrition question, you'll get an answer, and what I find is the answers are usually very general. And the problem with that is you're asking a very general question to a very specific thing. And the true answer to that is always it depends on what it is you're trying to do. So, if you're trying to lose weight, maybe googling are bananas good for me isn't the best question, because no one would argue that bananas are bad. But is it helping you on a weight loss journey to eat loads of banana every day? No, that's not the thing that I would suggest you do. So you have to be real intentional with the people that you're following and recognize when people are pushing a particular agenda. A lot of like nutritionists, dietitians, whoever are either pushing what they were taught and they believe to be true, what may or may not have worked for them, so they think that that will work for everyone. And all of those thought processes, in my opinion, are wrong, because if you look at any type of diet, whether it be carnivore, keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, there are examples in all of those spaces of those diets working. So who's right and who's wrong? This is why I don't have a one size fits all philosophy. I have nothing to sell you other than a program that actually works, because I don't believe that there's one way to do things. I think any of those things can work. It just depends on what it is you're trying to do and if it's sustainable for you. So if you grew up, with particular dietary habits and they are ingrained in your culture, it's going to be real hard to overhaul that if if you don't have a big enough why. And I would argue, why would you even do that? People forget we eat for two reasons. We eat for pleasure and we eat for nourishment. So you should check both boxes, right? Sometimes we get so stuck, especially in the nutrition space, we get so stuck on this has to be perfect. This has to be this way. And you can't only eat for health. If you're not conscious of the food, that's bullshit. We have cultural influences. Like, I grew up in an African American family. Every Thanksgiving was nuts. Like, we ate probably the worst of foods. But culturally, that's something that when I go home, I indulge. I don't eat that way every day. But on Thanksgiving, when I go back and visit my family, I'll eat that because it brings back memories. That sweet potato pie brings back memories of my childhood. Was it the best thing for me to be eating? No, I would never argue that. I'm not saying we should every day be eating sweet potato pie or macaroni and cheese or any of that type of stuff. But what I am saying is we have to learn to find balance in life. So even like with sugar, I see now it's like no sugar, cut all sugar. And I get why that's being spouted, because in today's society, like, we do overindulge. So we're going to the opposite end of the spectrum where everyone's like, I'm cutting it all. But sugar is actually a part of a healthy diet. It should be done in moderation. I'm going to do a video on that. I just did a short. If you're not following my Instagram, you should definitely check that out, at mnefitcamp.com. Also TikTok. I'm heavy on both. But I just did a post on there where I was talking about moderation, and I'm expressing that moderation means you shouldn't be doing something every day. So if you eat sugar in moderation, meaning not every day, then that's fine. It's not going to blow your diet out of the water. But it's when you do something daily that it becomes a problem and it's something that's not sustainable. So I think you have to be aware of that when you're on your weight loss journey and making sure that you're cutting through some of the food noise, because everything that's being said to you from these influencers isn't always true. And a lot of them have they have a stake in the outcome because they're being paid by particular brands to promote certain lifestyles. That's not necessarily what's best for you. That's probably what's best for them. This is why it's real hard for me to jump on board with like promoting just you have to use this product to improve your health. I don't know if I'm on board with that. There are certain things that you probably should do. And when the time comes for me to collaborate with those brands, I'll do it with integrity. But I don't like to push a particular lifestyle. If I'm pushing a lifestyle, it's something that's usually free. It costs you nothing. Like everyone should get out in nature. I love taking these walks to come out in nature. I mean, just look at this, man. Look at how beautiful it is out here. I could come out here without having to say a word to y'all and just come out here and sit and chop it up and talk because I love how beautiful it is out here. I love the scenery. I mean, I was just sitting here before filming this video, meditating, clearing my head, feeling the breeze. And it's not even a super sunny day. As you can see, I'm bundled up. It's cold out here right now. To me, at least. I get cold quick. I don't like cold weather like that. But I bring the proper gear. I get out here. I do what I have to do to complete my walks and make sure that I'm staying active and healthy. So I wanted to leave that with y'all in this video today to remind you that you got to cut through a lot of the food noise that you hear on the internet. And if something doesn't align with the lifestyle that you've chosen to live, then let that be a reminder that that might not be the advice that you need to be taking. If somebody's telling you you're gonna die if you're not a vegan, know that they have skin in the game. There are plenty of people that live very healthy lifestyles that aren't vegan. I'm sorry, no disrespect to the vegans, but there are plenty of people who live very healthy lifestyles that are vegan. So that's my point. You can't, it sounds like I'm picking on vegans too. I'm not picking on vegans. It's just I used to be a vegan for 6 years. So I fought that fight. I'm telling you what I know from experience. I was big on promoting veganism and you had to do it that way. Otherwise, you were a horrible person. And then I realized I actually felt better when I ate meat. Like, truth be told, I was just trying to live up to an expectation based off of a paradigm that I bought into. And I had a steak and I went and PR'd in the gym. Like, so again, I'm not advocating for or against veganism. I'm saying you have to figure out what works for you. When I do my consultations, I'm not telling people what worked for me. I'm asking questions about them, their lifestyle, their habits, their dietary desires, so that I can tailor my program and my advice for what it is that they're doing. And that's actually what separates me from a lot of other nutritionists is that I've tried all of these diets. I've done paleo, I've done carnivore, I've done everything because for many years I experienced a ton of gut issues and I was trying to figure out what it was that was the problem. So I was bouncing around to all these different diets trying to figure out what the fix was. And I finally figured it out for me, but that doesn't mean that what worked for me will work for you. You may not have those issues, you may not have that makeup, you may not even be eating those foods. This is why none of my meal plans do I tell my clients what to eat. I control their macros and they fill the macros with nutrition that is valuable after I kind of teach them why it's beneficial to eat whole food diets. I don't say plant-based. You don't have to eat all plant-based. I want you to eat whole foods, natural foods. The less processed, the better. But even with that, I know I banged on processed food in the beginning of this video. Beans are processed, canned beans. It went through a process. So I find balance even with that. I'm not so extreme that I can't have fun. You have to live life. I like that saying, have a devil's hand, but the Buddha's heart. Life is about balance. You can't just always be one way. Otherwise, what's the point? If you're not having some fun and enjoying life, sometimes, if you can't have a piece of cake at your kid's birthday party, what's the point of living life? That's crazy. What are you doing all this for? So I think that, we have to inject a little reality into our advice as influencers. I hate that term, but for language, I'll use it. As people who are pushing certain narratives on the internet, especially to those who don't have a clue, because most people nowadays go to the internet to get information that they don't know anything about. And unfortunately, it's so much noise in the nutrition space that you can't see the forest through the trees, no pun intended. So I really advise people to figure out what it is that you're trying to do, figure out what is the best approach to get to that goal, and then execute. But your advice should be tailored towards your goals, not just a general question. Because if you're just asking general questions with no nuance, anything could fit the bill. Honestly, any diet will work. It's just, is it sustainable and are you willing to stick to it? So, with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope you all are having a great day. Leave, like, share, comment. Let me do my due diligence and tell you we're trying to really grow the channel. I'm gonna put out a video a week of just these type of videos. Me coming to a nice quiet place and expressing my thoughts on how to have a better lifestyle, a healthier lifestyle. I think that a lot of the things that I see on the internet space are rigid. And I call myself the woo woo king because I do believe heavy in manifestation and intention. And I think that what we put our thoughts on and what we think about will manifest. And what you wake up looking for, you'll find. So if you're looking for reasons as to why you can't lose weight or why things are difficult, you'll find that. But when you're searching for why you can, you'll find this channel and you'll tap in. So please like, share, and subscribe. We're going to build this community of free thinkers who are really trying to take action on things that matter to them. And if that's you, this is the place for you. Share it with somebody who will find benefit. And I'd love to hear in the comments what it is that you would like to see videos on, because I don't want to just make content just to be making content. I want to make things that are applicable and that you can actually put and institute into your life right now. So I'd love to hear what it is you all would like to know about. After doing this for 20 years, I feel like I've been through it all. The birds are trying to tell me what they want to hear, but I want to talk to y'all. So let me know what it is that you want to be educated on or interested in, and I'll do deep dives, man. We can do longer videos than these. I love to talk about nutrition, fitness, wellness, and longevity. I have a goal. I'm going to live to be 100, and I'm going to do that while I'm still mobile and in good health. I want to have a good sound mind. So if you're interested in that, this is the space for you. I appreciate you stopping by. Continue to make no excuses and make nutrition easy. Follow me on all other platforms. Make no excuses. FitCamp, MNE FitCamp on Instagram, Twitter. And if you're not following the YouTube, make sure you do that. Y'all take it easy. Be blessed. Have a good one. If you're not tracking, you're lacking.